Hello and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Denise and this is Black Ribbon Stitch Studio, where we talk about counted cross stitch, crochet, and crafting. Today's video is a Flosstube extra WIP parade. But it's just a little different because this WIP parade is just going to be the WIPs in my rotation. There are 26 WIPs, and I have stitched on every WIP in the rotation. So we're going to take a look at all of those. And then at the end, you're going to help me to overthink what my next steps are. So sit back and relax, and let's go ahead and do this WIP parade. Okay. The first project that I want to show is Charlotte by Mirabilia. And this is what she's going to look like when she's done. Except, of course, I have done a color conversion on her skin and hair. And we started this for the the first Queen City Stitch Retreat in 2023. And I'm still stitching on her now. So let me just pause for 1 second and let you know what my rotation consists of, okay? So the purpose of my rotation is the WIPs that are going to be either a gift, or I'm in a stitch along, or they are part of a series that I plan to stitch multiple of. And most recently, I've added BEPs, which we know are as big ass projects, because if I don't add those, are they really ever going to get stitched? Okay, so right now, those are the parameters for my rotation. That's how you get into the rotation. That's how you qualify to be in rotation. And so there may be some changes along the way. I may decide, although it's very doubtful, but I may decide to take things out of rotation. But we'll see. Let's just continue and enjoy the ride. Okay, so as I was saying, the first one is Charlotte by Mirabilia. And I am stitching this on 32 count Cecil by Seraphim Fabrics. And here we are. And this is how far I am. Needless to say, I absolutely love her. I absolutely love her. I'm using all of the called for DMCs. And I started out stitching her on Mondays for Mirror Monday stitching, and then I decided to just put her into the regular rotation so that this way I could stitch on her for several days at a time and not just one, and I love that. And so there is Charlotte. What I've done, guys, is I have unzipped all of the project bags. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to be re-zipping them as I finish sharing them with you, because I'm going to because I'm going to be putting them on the floor. And so I find that the safest way to do things around here. Okay. Next up, and these are not necessarily in the order that they were stitched in, and they may not be stitched in this order going forward. So the next one is Oh, I should have pulled this book, but it's okay because the book is right here near me. The book is right here near me. It's Amy from my cross stitch doll book, which is right here. So Amy is in this book, My Cross Stitch Doll by Susan Bates. And I am stitching this for my granddaughter, Kyra. Her nursery theme, it has been, her nursery theme is ballerinas. And so I wanted to stitch this for her. And here is Amy. Amy is a front and back stitch. And I have done a color conversion. And so I'm stitching her on 28 count wheat Lugana. And I am using all of the rest of the called for DMCs. And for some reason, I started with the back of the doll instead of the front. And this is how far I've gotten. I have to say I'm not a fan of this 28 count Lugana, but I am planning to stitch maybe more of these. I don't know, but I'm going to continue with this fabric. I'm going to continue. I did pause there for a second so that I could get a board to put behind her. I think she's coming out great. I'm not completely happy with what I've done with the light parts of her hair, but I'm sticking with it and moving forward. So that's Amy. That's Amy. Next up is, what do we have next? Next up is Small Gift by Mary Englebright. And this is what it's gonna look like when it's done. I am doing a color conversion for the skin. And I'm stitching this along with Colette the Highway Stitcher and Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe. And this is how far I got. I'm stitching her on 14 count navy Ada. And here she is. Here's the board. And so far, I love her. And yeah, I love her. This looks really cute. I can't wait to stitch. You know how it is, guys. And so I'm going to try not to say it over and over and over again. But oh my goodness, I can't wait to stitch some more on this. Okay. All right, so that is Small Gift by Mary Englebright. And next up is Oriental Lady Wisdom. Yes, Oriental Lady Wisdom, and it is from this book, A Cross Stitcher's Oriental Odyssey by Joan Elliott for Design Works. I absolutely want to, of course, stitch everything in this book. And she is this one here. This is what she's going to look like when she's done. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. And so I'm stitching her on 32 count Lichen Lugana by Picture This Plus. I am using all of the called for DMCs. And this is my start. Well, this is where I am. And I started stitching this as part of the hashtag gorgeous geisha sal with Kelly at Pages 3 Stitches here on Flosstube and Tammy of Tammy's Cinnamon Stitches. We're doing the gorgeous geisha sal. I love this fabric. I love this fabric and I love the stitches. So there is that one. The next WIP I want to show you is Letters from Mermaids, the letter Q by Nora Corbett. And I am stitching this for, this is another thing I'm stitching for my granddaughter Kyra. Yes, her name starts with a Q. And I'm stitching it on 32 count antique lace Lugana. And I have written here that I'm doing my own DMC conversion, and so, okay, here it is. Here it is. This is gonna be done in no time, in no time, as we often say. But I'm trying to remember, because it's charted with Classic Colorworks, and so I did my own DMC conversion so that I could use DMC. And this is also part of a stitch along that I started called the For My Daughter Sal. Hashtag For My Daughter Stitch Along. And I am stitching it for my granddaughter. And you can still join, obviously. You can still join that stitch along. And it's just because you are stitching something for your child. Your child or your grandchild, any of those projects will fit into that hashtag. The next WIP I want to show you is, this is very interesting because I honestly thought that I took this out of rotation. So let's take a look. This is Rosina Dizery by Works by ABC. That's what she's gonna look like when she's done. This is one of the few samplers that we have that have been reproduced that was originally stitched by a black woman or a black girl. And this was charted by Works by ABC, as I've said. And I'm stitching it on 32 count Earthen Lugana by Picture This Plus, using all of the called for DMC. And here she is. Oh my goodness, I love her so much. I love her so much. That's probably why she's still in rotation. But I honestly thought that I took her out of rotation because she honestly does not fit any of the categories that I mentioned, other than the fact, so it's just the fact that I am so anxious to finish her so that I can frame her and hang her on the wall. And so, in all honesty, because I have 26 active WIPs, in rotation, I'm going to think about Rosina again. The point of my active WIP rotation also is to finish these things because of their importance to me. So I don't know. What do you think? Tell me what you think. I'm seriously thinking about. Okay. Mystery solved. Mystery solved. That's why I love a WIP parade. I love a WIP parade. Mystery solved. I kept Rosina in rotation because the moment I am done stitching Rosina, I am going to start working on Anne Crowther 1833, also by charted by Works by ABC. So yes, she qualifies to be in the rotation because as soon as she's done, I'm stitching another. So there. Okay. I'm so glad that mystery is solved. Next is 2024 Year of the Dragon Biscornu by Siren Stitches. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. I am stitching this because it's 2024's stitch. And I promised myself that I wanted to stitch a Biscornu. Did I know it was going to take me this long? No, I didn't know. But this is why this is still in rotation. Because I really just want to finish it and go ahead and make it into a Biscornu so that I will have achieved that goal. So this is how far I am. This is the top of it. I love it. I'm stitching it on 32 count faded lemonade Lugana, and I'm using DMC 321. Faded lemonade. If I'm not mistaken, this fabric is by Grace Notes Fabrics. And I did have to restart this. And so I restarted it March of this year. March of 2025 is when I restarted it. So I'm okay. As long as I get it finished, I'm okay. And that's why it is in rotation. It's another rule breaker. Well, or should I say it's a rule breaker. It's in here because I'm determined. I'm determined to get this Biscornu, this 2024 Biscornu done. There's no point, in my opinion, in putting it back in the languishing WIPs. Like, what would that even mean? Okay. Next up is let me make sure I have her name right. Amelia's Valentine by Calico Confectionery. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. Amelia's Valentine. Did I say that? Okay, I felt like I said something else. Gorgeous. I love this so much. I love this so much. And so I am racking my brain as we speak, trying to figure out why this is in my my WIPs. Okay. It is, she's absolutely gorgeous. So here she is. Here's how far I got. She is absolutely gorgeous. I love it so much. So let's see what's going on. I'm stitching her on 16 count white Aida. I have in the project bag some 32 count Lugana bee's knees. And I think I was originally going to stitch it on this, but I didn't like the way that it looked. Okay, but I never put the fabric away, so that's good. Another good reason. This is why we do WIP parades. At least this is why I do. Okay, so we're going to put that fabric away. And we're going, and so therefore I have no idea. I have no idea why I have this in my WIP rotation. So this one is going to the side because I think I'm gonna have to, I think I might have to put her away. Okay, that means we're down to 25 now. Okay, next up is, oh yes, absolutely, Say Sushi by Design Works. This is Design Works kit. This is what it's gonna look like when it's done, because it's so cute. Angel's here again. Angel, don't chew on the project bag. This is what he does. Okay, he's gonna chew on it until I absolutely make him stop. Okay, and this is how far I got on Say Sushi, which I affectionately call Sushi Cat. Okay, look at that. So all of the regular stitching is done. All I have to do is the back stitching. There are some beads that go on top of this sushi as the row on the sushi. And stitch the words, which is, did someone say sushi? Which I don't like backstitch lettering, so I may change that. But okay, so we're almost there. We're almost there. And the only reason this has been in rotation is because I think when I started this whole thing with this, you know, WIP rotation, I had items in here that, you know, I just wanted to finish them so that I could display them. And that's changed. But this is almost done. This is almost done. This stays. This absolutely stays because it's almost done. It would be a crime. It would be an absolute crime to put this away. So I'm not going to do it. So you go back in there. I'm not going to do it. And so let me put Amelia's Valentine. Excuse me for bending over, guys. Put Amelia's Valentine back in the project bag. Angel, don't chew on the project bag. He's so annoyed with me. It's okay. No. Okay. Next project we have is Don't Fall. Next Door by Heartstring Samplery, which I am stitching this for my sister who now lives in Connecticut and I'm in North Carolina, and we both were in New York, and I miss her terribly and I wish she lived next door. And here is how far I got. I'm stitching it on 32 count butternut squash. No, not butternut. It's just butternut. Butternut Lugana. It's so pretty, I can't even stand it. This is by Seraphim, this fabric. And I've done a little bit of a DMC conversion. I've changed some of the colors. And again, look, it's almost done. It's almost done. It's almost done. So if I haven't, I know I haven't said this yet. The way that I'm stitching these WIPs is I stitch on each WIP for anywhere from 2 to 7 days. And how I arrive at that number is I spin a wheel. I spin a wheel, see how many days I'm going to work on the project. And I do really feel as if it has helped move these projects along. I know for sure that I finished one so far. I can't remember if I finished any others this year. But so far this year, I know for sure that I finished at least one of the projects that has been in my WIP rotation. So, let's hope that continues. Let's hope that continues. Okay. The next WIP is Sedgwick by Shaded Stitchery. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And Nuri charted this in celebration of the anniversary of hip hop. And so this has a lot of meaning to me, because, you know, they say that hip hop was originated in the Bronx, and I grew up in the Bronx, and I kind of remember Sedgwick Avenue very well. Okay. So here is how far I've gotten. I'm stitching it on 22 count Hardanger using DMC, and it was to commemorate the 50th anniversary of hip hop. I didn't want to misspeak. This is how far I've gotten. And yeah, I chose these colors myself. And the reason this one is in my WIP rotation is because as soon as I finish stitching that one, I'm going to stitch this one, which is Hip Hop Origins by Shaded Stitchery. And in the hopes that I can hang them together. I'm gonna love doing that. I'm gonna love it so much. Yeah. Okay, on to the next one, which is Stationery Attic by Little Dove Designs, which I'm stitching for my daughter. Oh man, it's kind of ridiculous. I'm stitching this for my daughter. I was going to give it to her on her birthday. I started stitching this in 2021. And the part of the issue here is that I have tried all kinds of different methods of stitching on it to get it done. And so I do think this latest iteration of my rotation is going to actually get it done, because this is how far I am. I'm stitching it on 14 count pale gray gingham Ada. My daughter chose the colors, although she's never seen this. And I'm almost there, guys. I'm almost there. Another good, 5 to 7 day run. Maybe. There's a lot of back stitching. We'll see. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I've been stitching this since 2021. It's kind of nuts. But it's only nuts when you don't, when we're not talking about all the rest of my languishing WIPs. Okay, that's the only reason it's nuts. If we were talking about those, then it's like, oh, okay, I understand. It's one of many. One of many. Okay. The next one is, I was looking to see if I showed you any cute project bags yet, and the only one that I think I came across so far, no, there were a couple. Okay, never mind. Yeah. It was a project bag that I made. And this one is also a project bag that I made. So, this project is Spooky Cute Ornaments by It's So Emma. And this includes 12 cute designs. Because I have, you know, thoughts of, I see so many other people do it. You know, just having a really cute Halloween stitching display. As it is, I put out my Halloween things and there's no stitching. Okay, so I thought this would be a good way to get it done. So, okay. I am stitching this on. Okay, I started stitching this on 25 count white Lugana. And if I can find the piece, then we can actually look at it and talk about it. It is small and it is not done. This is why I don't have any Halloween ornaments or stitching as of yet. So anyway, there it is. I decided to start with the pumpkin. Look at the cute pink background. So I stitched all of that, and then I said, wait a minute. Oh my goodness, guys. First of all, the ornaments on the chart are round. And I didn't want to do round ones, so I modified the chart so that I could stitch it as a square. And then I realized, why am I doing that? When all I have to do is pull out this piece of pink Ada that I have. So I am going to finish stitching the jack-o'-lantern, the pumpkin. I'm gonna continue to stitch this on this white with the pink background. But then afterwards, I am going to stitch the rest of them on the pink Ada. And I hope out of the 12, I hope to stitch at least 6 of them. And so that's why it's in my my current WIP rotation. And so next up in the rotation is, let's see, what is this one? We have Peace on Earth by Whilst Iris Naps. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And as you can see, this is going to be a drum. And yes, I do plan on finishing it as a drum. And so if I'm sorry, I was looking at Angel because he's like so annoyed that it's almost, check it out, almost time to eat. It's not really time to eat yet. It's just almost time to eat. Okay, keep that in mind. All right. So, okay. I am stitching this on 32 count slate by Fiber on a Whim. And I'm using all of the cloth for DMC. And this is how far I got. Peace on Earth, which I love. I love this border. I love the way it looks on this fabric. And as I put it closer, you could see all of the little snowflakes and so forth. And I am absolutely in love with this. And so, why is this in my, I can't think of the word that I'm trying to say. In my current rotation, it's because it is a drum. And I promised myself that I was going to make a drum. And so, let me see, when did I start this? In 2024. And so, I'm going to keep working on it until I actually have a drum. Okay, So that's why this is in the active WIP rotation. Yes, active WIPs. Okay. I have to put this card back in this cute project bag that I made. Okay. Next up in rotation is more chocolate bunnies. And this is by Hands On Design. And this is what it's gonna look like when it's done. So adorable. And again, I think my favorite part of it is the bunny tails, which are little white buttons. I just think that's so adorable. And I'm stitching this on 32 count Cecil Lugana by Seraphim. And I'm using all of the called for DMC. And I'm stitching it with Nithya at Daybreak Stitchery. So this is a stitch along with Nithya. I feel like you can't really see the words. Let's try it with a board. Okay, that looks a lot better. That looks a lot better. And yes, again, enjoying stitching it so very, very much. Yes. So there is that. That one. So many little components, but we know that. We know that. We're used to it. Okay, next up is the Be Happy Sampler by Mary Engelbreit, which is in this book that you can still find on the secondary market by Mary Engelbreit, cross stitch. And when it's done, show you what it's gonna look like. I have stitched just about everything in this book. Oh my goodness, where are you? There you are. The Be Happy Sampler. That's what it's gonna look like when it's done. I'm stitching this along with Amy at Renewing Stitches and my friend Linda Fisatola. It is the hashtag Be Happy Sal. I'm stitching it on 16 count Ada. Is it white? 16 count white Ada. Using the Call for DMC floss, I've made a couple of substitutions with Vicky Clayton Silk. And this is how far I got. No, he is not scratching the walls. Guys, come get your cat. Come get your cat. Okay. Wow. And this is how far I've gotten. I love it, of course. I love it. And I'm just like, it's just so... It's so fun to see where the other ladies are in their stitching at this time. I love it a lot. So that is the Be Happy Sal. Okay, next up in rotation is... Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. What? They're all good. This is Four Seasons, which was from the Keepsake Pocket Calendar. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. Yes, it says 2025. I'm considering changing it to 2026 because it is September and it's not done. So I'm thinking of changing it to say 2026, and then this way I get a chance to actually display it. But these colors are magical. I love that the numbers have little decorative doodads in them, and it just gets better. It just gets better from here. It just gets better. And so as you can see, I'm stitching it on black Aida. Oh, here it is. 14 count black Aida using the called for DMCs. And again, this is in my active WIP rotation because of the fact that it is a 2025 piece, and I would just like to get it done. I would just like to get it done. Even if I change it to 2026, I would just like to get it done. That just makes sense to me. Okay. Then we have, the next up is Going to Grandma's by Praiseworthy Stitches. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. I am stitching this along with my Table 4 mates from the 2023 Queen City Stitch Retreat, who are a Jordan, tattooed stitcher. I'm going to put them all, I will link them all in the description box below. But I'm stitching it along with Jordan, Amber, Sarah, Bernadette, and Lisa, who were all my table mates at the Queen City Stitch Retreat. We were at Table 4 and we had a blast. And so we're stitching this, and I'm stitching it on 32 count Silvery Moon Lugana, and I made a DMC conversion because it's stitched in, I remember struggling with this before. Let's see if I can get it this time. Guessed. Gentle Arts sampler threads, and is it Weeks Dye Works? Yes, Weeks Dye Works and Gentle Arts sampler threads. And so I have done a DMC conversion, and here it is. Here's where I am. I love it. This is such, oh gosh, it's just such a fun stitch. It's so fun. I want you to see the white part. We can see Grandma. Yeah, so much fun. It's intricate. It's involved. There's so many different elements, and as you can see, all I've done is I've started, like, this part of the house is what I'm working on, but we have all of this going on. It's fascinating. It's fascinating, and I enjoy it a lot. So there's that. Going to Grandma's. Next up is Alpha Birds. I am stitching Alpha Birds with, this is what it's going to look like when it's done, and I'm stitching this along with Mackenzie of Mud Puppy Stitchery. Mackenzie is entirely at fault for this because I am in love with this. This is by the Cross Wing Collection, and I am stitching it on 32 count Terracotta Lugana using the called for DMC with a few Vicky Clayton silk substitutions. Look at that. Oh my goodness. I love everything about this. Everything about it. So, can't wait to get back to stitching on that. Can't wait to get back to it. That bird, by the way, is the American Everset. The American Everset. So yeah, that's a good one. Why do I keep saying that? They're all good. That's why they're in my, you would think I would have this. That's why they're in my current rotation. No, that's not the word. Anyway, here we go. Another project bag made by me. On this one, I decided to put the little tag because there's no vinyl or anything. And so this is You Belong to Me by Long Dog Samplers. It's a very sentimental piece. And here it is. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. And this is in my rotation because it is a BAP. This is a BAP. It's going to take me a really long time because I'm stitching this on 32 count Frosted Lemonade Lugana by Grace Notes Fabric. And I am using 12 different shades of green and gold DMC floss, and this is my progress. This is how far I've gotten. I love, love, love every choice that I have made. I love it all. I simply love it all. Yeah. So yeah, just to sit and enjoy stitching on this for a few days at a time. Yeah, that's kind of bliss to me. Yeah. This is bliss. Next up, we have Black Belt Sampler by Marumi Designs, who charted this especially for me because I said this. This is my phrase. And she charted it, and I love her for it. And I love this chart. So where's my cover photo? It's here somewhere. It's here. I just can't. Here we are. Here we are. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I am stitching it on 16 count Touch of Pink Ada using all of the called for DMC. And this is how far I've gotten. It is glorious. It's glorious. Now, I have no reason to have this in my current rotation. What? I wish I could think of the word. Active. In my active WIP rotation. So, I mean, even my friend Deb was stitching this. We weren't necessarily stitching it together. She finished it. So, I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to put it aside. And so, I may be taking this out of my active WIP rotation. Because, again, the only reason it's in there is because I'm, like, so excited to get it done. So, if I take it out, that brings us down to 24 active WIPs. Okay. Next up is Retreat Queen by Nora Corbett. And there is no cover photo. This was charted for us by Nora Corbett for the 2023 Queen City Stitch Retreat. And I'm stitching it on 32 count Nora Lugana. And that fabric is by Grace Notes Fabrics. And I'm using the Called For Floss, which includes some specialty flosses. And this is how far I am. She's gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous and a joy to stitch. So here we are again. Other than the fact that I just want to see her hanging in my home, and the fact that she was gifted to us at the Queen City Stitch Retreat, I don't really have any reason for her to be in my current active WIP rotation. She may have to go. All of this is hurting me. This is all very difficult. So we're going to put her aside. And that will bring us down to 23 active WIPs in rotation. This is very painful. Okay. I was not expecting that. So as you can see, there's so many things in my active WIP rotation that I'm not even sure what's in there. And again, thank God for WIP parades. Next up is Santa's House by Cottage Garden Samplings. And it is part of the Fabulous House series. It's number 1 in the Fabulous House series. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. And it's in rotation because I do plan to stitch several other of these houses one at a time, back to back. Okay. So I am stitching this on 32 count Silver Moon Lugana using the Call For DMC, except I did substitute one of the colors, which I can't even really tell you off the bat. I did substitute one of the colors for a Vicky Clayton silk. And so this is how far I got. It's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. And I have to say how happy I am that I have a reason to keep it in my active WIP rotation. I'm excited about that because it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. Okay. Enough with that zipper, right? Next up in the rotation is Saga by Long Dog Samplers. And this is what Saga is going to look like when it's done. Here it is. Okay. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. Give me a good Long Dog sampler. I'm a happy girl. I'm a happy girl. I am stitching this on 16 count white Aida. I did restart it because originally I was stitching it on 25 count 1/1. I'm like, no, I don't even like the way that looks. So here it is. This is how far I've gotten. And I am looking forward to all of the other many stitches. I'm planning on stitching the creatures. This is being stitched with 310 black DMC. And I'm stitching the creatures in a beautiful green, number 732. And this is in rotation because it is a bat. It's going to take forever. It's going to take forever. It's going to take forever. This is actually the largest long dog ever. So there's that. And it's also, no, I was going to say it's in Pattern Keeper, but it is not. Okay, it is not. Okay, we're almost there. We've only got 2 more. So the next one is Sugar Cookies by Cricket Collection. And so if you normally watch my videos, you will know that I started this recently, and I was actually looking for a reason to keep it in rotation. I needed people to stitch it with me, and I'm stitching it with Pat M, Grip-On Stitcher, and Mama K's Stitching Corner. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. Right there. And I think it's getting dark in here, but we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. Okay. And I'm stitching on a 32 count Silver Fox Lugana by Fiber on a Whim, using all of the called for DMC floss. I started in the middle, so I have the beautiful K in the center of cookies. Done. I think it's done. No, it's not completely done, but yeah, there we are. So, there it is. Sugar cookies. Love it. I'm so, of course, really excited about the fact that I have more than one Christmas project in my WIP rotation, because Christmas is my favorite stitching of all. Believe it or not, it's my favorite stitching of all. Okay. Last, but totally not least, like totally not least, is No Time Like the Present, which I also showed you recently on a Flosstube. It's by Modern Folk Embroidery, and it was the Modern Folk Embroidery 2024 Stitch Along. It is stunning. I am mesmerized by that clock in the middle of it. And it is a BAP, and that's why it's a stitch along, first of all, and it's a BAP, and so that's why it's in my rotation. So I'm stitching it on 32 count Trent Lugana, and I'm using, and this is by Grace Knows Fabric, and I'm using DMC 310 and 550. Look at that. Look at that gorgeousness. Ah, just stunning. Stunning. Okay, so there you have it. Those are all of the WIPs in my active WIP rotation, which you guys have helped me narrow it down from, we started with 26, now we're down to, did I say 23? We're down to 23 because I'm going to put 3 of them away. But before we start the rotation again, I want to talk a little bit about what I want to do next. And you can absolutely, please weigh in. Let me know what you think. Oh, I forgot the card. Oh boy. Okay, now I don't know. Okay, we got it. All right, so what I want to do now is take a pause to revisit some of my languishing WIPs. So I have wanted to share that I have tried several methods of cataloging and keeping up with my languishing WIPs, and my most recent try is this this spreadsheet that I made, which is, you know, color coded to let me know what has been started, what has been finished, like. And I'm not at all sure that I have all of my WIPs on here as yet, and that's okay. That's okay, because what I want to do now is I want to take a little pause, and I want to spin the wheel. I have all of my languishing WIPs. I'm fairly confident that all of my languishing WIPs are on this wheel. So I want to spin the wheel to choose a WIP to work on, and I want to spin the wheel to see how long to work on it. Some other things that are rolling around in my brain though are, if I should spin a wheel to see how many languishing WIPs to work on first, and then work on each one for however many days I spin, or do I figure out how many WIPs to work on and then work on all of them for a set amount of days and do it that way? And then there's another caveat wherein on that same wheel where I have my languishing WIPs, I have a few other crafting projects. Now, that also includes, it does include finishing. So that might happen if I spin that. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to spin for these things, but I will be spinning the wheel so that I can work on some languishing projects. So we have that to look forward to. We're going to look forward to revisiting some of those projects. Now, some of those projects, there is a very good chance that some of those projects will wind up in the it's really crazy how I can't remember this word. In the active WIP rotation, because they may fit into some of these projects. I know for sure fit into the categories, so that'll be interesting to see. Some of those WIPs may get trashed. That I may be like done, like that's it, I'm not doing it. So that's going to be interesting to see. And then it's also going to be very interesting to see if I actually do spin another craft goal and how that's going to look. So all I can say is stay tuned. Stay tuned. I think I'm having a lot of fun here. I'm having a lot of fun here, and I want to take you along with me. Now, before any of that happens, before I spin anything, right, I have decided, I told you guys that I was thinking about starting 2 different projects based on, and it was depending on whether I actually had the supplies to kit them with. And so one of them I did, one of them I didn't, and I'm fine with that. I put the other one away, but I am definitely going to start Midnight Meow by Nora Corbett, which is just a chart. And look at what I'm going to stitch it on, guys. Oh, look what I'm going to stitch it on. This is called The Land Before Wine by Stitchman Darcy. Where is my board? I am so excited. This is 32 count even weave by Stitchman Darcy. The Land Before Wine. I'm gonna stitch that black cat bat on here. It's gonna be stunning. I have everything I need except for some beads, which I might have the beads too, but I just haven't looked. Cause like, let's stitch it first. But oh my goodness, I'm excited. So I'm gonna start this first. Then I'm gonna spin the wheel. I'm gonna figure out like how I'm gonna do that with the spinning of the wheel. And I'm gonna do that, and that's gonna be what we're gonna be working on for the next whatever period of time. So thank you so much for joining me for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you have not yet subscribed, please do so at this point. I thank all of you who are subscribers at this time. I will see you soon. And so until next time, bye-bye.